All right. And we're live, I believe. Well, it still says preparing. All right. It says that we are live. There we go. Okay. So, guys, welcome to Trade School Consulting's Pressure Washing Business School Facebook group. Tonight, we're going to have David Carroll on with Dope Marketing. And I have specifically been using his services recently to target a specific clientele in my service area with postcards. And we've had some really good returns on investment immediately, and as well just an overall response for lead generation. So I wanted to bring David on to talk more about postcards. There's a lot of questions posted yesterday and the day before on some of the posts about postcards. So David, if you will, you want to take a moment, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about the company and how you've gotten to this point?
Yeah, for sure. So for any of us that haven't met, my name is Dave Carroll. I own a company called Dope Marketing, and the way that we got into or started Dope Marketing, I actually have owned a pressure washing and window cleaning company up here in the Twin Cities for about 10 years. We're actually in the process of selling that business. We close on July 1st. And it's really like most entrepreneurial journeys, like I can only focus on what I'm passionate about. And I've found that my passion is really in data and direct mail. And so what we did at Dope Marketing is we built a platform that completely simplifies direct mail. For anyone watching live replay, if you've either sent direct mail before, there's two people watching this. You've sent direct mail before, or you've never sent direct mail before. For people that have sent direct mail before, we take all of the overwhelming things out of it, and David and I will discuss that a bit more on this live video, but basically like getting a list, going through design, every single step of the process, sending the mail, tracking the mail, we've simplified that. Where before, it might take you a week or 2 weeks to get your list, clean it up, get your design done, get the mail out and deliver it. We've cut that about into a fourth with what it takes to do it through our company. Dope Marketing really focuses on whether it's your own list or a list that we provide you, making direct mail really simple. So you can send one campaign through us, or maybe you want to set up like a monthly mailing to your current customer list. We can take your list, you can pick different cards to send on each month, pick the day those are going to send out, boom, they go. We can also do really cool like CRM triggers and automations, but basically Dope Marketing in a nutshell. We take direct mail, we make it really simple.
Okay. So one of my first questions, I think most people's question, when you say direct mail campaigns, what is the difference between every door and direct mail?
Yeah, great question. We get asked this a ton also. So the difference between direct mail and EDDM, every door direct mail, the first thing is going to be the targeting. With every door direct mail, the reason the post office came out with this service is you have to saturate, meaning hit every single person on a carrier route, whether they're rich, they're poor, they're homeless, they live in a mansion, they live under a bridge. If they live on that carrier route that you're sending the mail to, that person is going to get a piece of mail. You can't target homeowners, you can't target age range, you can't target income, none of that. The reason the post office does this is because think of Dave the postal man. I have to sort every piece of mail. When David Sessions, the business owner, brings in his stack of mail that he wants to send out, if it's a saturation mailing, there's no sorting involved. I'm putting it in every single house, every apartment building, every nook and cranny on that mail carrier route so that you get a discount on the postage. It's going to be a little cheaper But for that cost, you're paying in the inability to target your perfect customer. With a direct mail campaign, whether you're sending a letter, a postcard, a trifold, a scratch and sniff, popcorn, whatever, like you can pick the list of people that you're sending to, and you don't have to hit a whole carrier route. So you don't have to necessarily send out 1,200 pieces if you don't want to. You could pick 413 people that have $1 million home and only mail to those people. You're going to pay a little bit more for postage, but it allows you to open up the capabilities of targeting. So in a nutshell, EDDM, a little more bang for your buck, a shotgun approach. It's great for restaurants. It's great for the county fair. It's great for anyone that needs to hear a message. But when you're a business owner selling a product or service and you want to get it in front of a specific type of person, ideally, let's say a homeowner with a certain value of their home that's a certain age or something like that, that's where you send a direct mail campaign versus an EDDM campaign.
Okay. So, all right. So you had mentioned in there that, as far as like prices, what is, can anybody do this? Do I need to have thousands of dollars to start? Like with Google ads, a lot of people say, if you're just throwing a couple $100, you're not really moving the needle. You're throwing the money out the window. Where's my entry point for postcards?
So historically with the mail, there was a minimum. Like if you go to a print shop, they're going to want you to spend a certain amount of money, or you got to send 1,000 pieces or 5,000 pieces or whatever. They won't talk to you. It'd be like if someone came to one of you guys, whether you do siding cleaning or roofing or whatever, was like, I want 2 windows cleaned. And you're like, dude, get out of here. I can't do that. It costs me as much time to send the guys out there to do 2 windows as it does 200. Used to be the same thing with the mail. We've solved that problem. So you can get on our platform and you can send 3 postcards. If you wanted to go and write, I don't know who would want to do this, but let's imagine you did. Let's say you're in a cul-de-sac and you want to send mail to all the people in the cul-de-sac and you wanted to just write down those addresses, upload them into our program. You could send out 5 postcards the next day if you wanted to. There's no minimum order at all using our system to send your direct mail.
So with that being said, so it's great that you can go out and send 5 postcards. But let's talk about the actuality of everything, right? So if I send 5 postcards and I keep doing this, this isn't going to garner the same results as if I'm targeting someone very specific or doing it in thousands. Where do you actually start seeing a good rate of return as far as quantity goes?
So the best advice, selfishly as a printer, us printers would naturally want to say, oh, you got to send mail every week, or you got to send this many, or do whatever. The thing is with mail, you want to mail every 3 to 5 weeks. That's really the sweet spot. The thing that's going to generate leads is a killer offer. I know a guy who sent a really cool, good-looking postcard the other day that had some sweet offers on them and generated some great results. And the thing is, your targeting is one thing when it goes into results, but the thing that you want to focus on is an offer. It's an irresistible offer. The science of direct market advertising will tell you it's a 3-part equation. You need to target your perfect customer. You need to give them an irresistible offer, and you need to put some urgency or some time sensitivity. This is where I ease into that number that you're asking. The minimum amount of mail that I'll send out to a cold list is 1,000 pieces. Now, we do granular, smaller lists where it's like, let's say we got a zip code we really like. It's in a gated community in town, or we got a bunch of work in this area. If it's to your current customer list or you're leveraging a certain job, you could send out 500 pieces and get a result. Like with most good things in life, the more you send, the more that's going to happen. You're just multiplying the result. But my rule of thumb is 1,000 pieces to a cold customer list. And when someone asks, Dave, what's a good test? 1,000 to 5,000 pieces is a really good test for a first shot. And then you can come back in and kind of nibble at the rest of that list and segment out how you want to get those continual touches. But 1,000 to 5,000 pieces, and you want to hit them at least 2, if not 3 times within 6 to 12 weeks is a perfect little window to run a good test.
Okay. And so using specifically dope marketing, because I actually saw this on Facebook earlier today. I think someone had commented that Sin Jim does kind of the same thing. What is, you're saying the minimum really, if you're trying to look at a decent coverage, would be 1,000, and that's going to give you an idea constant of where your return can be at. What is 1,000 going to cost me? Where's my budget at for 1,000 postcards?
So for 6x9 postcards, these big beefy ones, not the little baby 4x6s or whatever, we're at 77 cents at 1,000 cards. But as you go up in volume, it just gets cheaper. I mean, we have certain clients that are getting prices as cheap as like 60 cents per card. And that's the list, design, printing, postage, and delivery tracking. All of that combined, starting at 77 cents, only getting cheaper. Another really cool thing about our platform is, let's say you come to us and you say, Dave, I want to send to a list of 5,000, but I want to do it for 4 months in a row. There's no other company that will combine that and give you the price of 20,000 with no prepay, no commitment. So wherever your budget is or wherever you want to start spending, we'll work with you guys to we want to see your campaigns work. We don't want to do a one and done, one shot, never follow up, never talk to you. We would rather, if you come and say, Dave, I got a budget of 5,000 pieces, we don't necessarily want to do that in one shot. We'll work with you guys to come up with a strategy to schedule that out so that we can see you guys get the best results for your mailing. Because again, as much as we all want to think that we're in business for our health, that's not necessarily the case. We all want to make a little money. So the idea is when you come to us, we want to come up with a strategy that's going to work for you guys. So you go make a bunch of money off a mail and come back and spend it. And we can go make some more money together.
Okay. So, so for those that are watching, sorry, I got some in my eye there. For those that are watching that are trying to figure out where's my budget at, and if I had like 1,000 postcards, you're saying that it's roughly going to be $700 to $800. If you look at, so as a small business owner, if I'm having to determine where am I going to put my $800 to see the best return, I have Facebook, I have Google, I have dope marketing. What does the return rate look like in comparison to, like, say, a Google that promises 8 to 10 times return? How do you measure that statistic with postcards?
Yeah, so with something like mail, again, where we talk about the consistency or getting something going, right now, this time of the year in the spring, and especially with COVID and all this stuff going on, depending where you guys are located in the country, for those of you watching, it's like the best advice that I could give right away for a campaign, you need to ask yourself first before you go send mail to a cold list or anything. And we'll tell a story in a minute for some good results. But it's like, my advice is send a mailing to your current customer list right away, because that's where you're going to see anywhere from like a 7 to 14 times return on investment. There's direct mail stats that say an average direct mail campaign will get you a 1 to 5% return rate on the incoming calls. From there, it's up to the business owner. Are you closing $300 jobs? Are you offering multi-service tickets? Do you end up being at 6,000 square foot estates all day long because you picked the right list to send to? Like, the idea is when you look at a direct mail campaign, you can on average think you're going to get a 1 to a 5% response rate. And the more you send to that same home, that 3-month strategy we talked about, the higher you're going to go from a 1 to 5% response rate. But now when you look at it from an ROI perspective, a lot of this comes into your list targeting. If like fall gutter cleaning season, let's fast forward a couple months, we're in the fall. You can go a little bit down on your targeting because more people need gutter cleaning, because like you're going to do a less aggressive offer, you know, $129 starting for gutter cleaning, $25 discount, whatever. A lot more leads are going to come in, but you're going to have to send a bigger campaign to get an ROI. But if you focus, and let's say you only want to do like $1 million homes in your area and you're doing a multi-service discount, it's like you're going to see a lot bigger tickets coming in. So even off only sending 1,000 pieces, well, let's say you only get a 1% response rate and 10 people call off of your 1,000 piece campaign. Well, if those leads coming in are asking for house cleaning, roof washing, gutter cleaning, and window cleaning, and maybe want to throw their pool deck or their driveway, now we just took an average ticket of your business from $400 to $500 for a house wash and maybe a multiple service to now you're doing $1,300, $1,700, $2,200 jobs. Do the math, guys. I mean, how many 4-digit jobs does it take to get a positive ROI spending $700, $800 on a mailing campaign? So it's all kind of weighing it out. And these are the things that we can get into on the direct mail strategy sessions that we offer, because a lot of it depends on like, what area of the country are you in? How long have you been in business? Are you guys established? What other marketing are you doing? If you look at things, and David, you just brought this up, you know, Google, Facebook, average returns. Well, your Facebook and Google gurus want to tell you that it's supposed to be so easy to get these amazing response rates. But if you actually look at the cost of conversion on Google in the home service industry, it's going to be like $24 to $32 to get someone to actually call you off a Google ad. You might be getting clicks for $4, $7, $12, whatever. But how many clicks is it taking for someone to call you? When if you send out 1,000 pieces of mail with a unique coupon with a tracking number, it's very easy to tell, like, I sent out 1,000 pieces, I got 14 calls, and I closed 6 of those jobs for $7,000 or whatever the case is. So the response rate on leads is always going to be different from how many deals you can close. But what's always, I go back to something I said earlier in the call, what's always going to make direct mail work the best is that irresistible offer. $100 off multiple services. Who doesn't want $100 off anything? It's like thinking of paying a bill. So it's like when you can incentivize that higher ticket, maybe you're sending to only houses over 4,000 square feet, and you know you can give $200 off because of you're only sending to homes where you could justify a ticket that's going to be $1,500, and you know that the lifetime value of that customer, you're going to do service for them for at least 5 to 7 years or something like that. So what's it worth to send consistent mail to an address like that to get these customers coming in where the lifetime value could be $7,000, $10,000, $20,000 potentially over the life of your business?
So let's talk about that for a second. You have the postcard that we sent out for my company specifically. So we targeted $1 million homes in my service area, only homes that were $1 million and up in value. And we gave 100, you can see it's $150 off coupon.
150, yeah.
And so it does, it generates, and a lot of people, I think I posted this somewhere, a lot of people had private messaged me, it was like $150 off. That seems like a lot. But when you're talking about having an average ticket of a response from, so when I send these out, my average ticket for this is $1,200 to $1,500. Like, and that's average, right? When I go up to a property, it's very rare that it's going to be less than $1,000. So to give somebody $150 off, and usually these properties that are $1 million are expansive, right? We did a live stream this morning of one of the properties I pulled up to, and it was a 10-minute live stream, and 8 minutes of it was walking his driveway. So these properties are so massive. And so even if you don't get that customer on the first time, you do a good service visit, now you have them again. And that's what you're talking about, is a lifetime value of a client. And if you are someone like me who offers a membership program, well, then we can do a total home property membership with them. And now they're a monthly member and I have them for the rest of time. So I think it's a great investment. We've seen a really good response. Something else that we use, I wanted to kind of bring up, because you see in the back there where it says like printing and tracking and data mining and door hangers, yard signs. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other touches that you put with postcards in order to help them be more successful, right? So ringless voicemails is something that we did this go around, but even your yard signs, these are trackable yard signs. Can you explain a little bit what that is?
Absolutely, yeah. So like the thing you want to do with any marketing campaign nowadays is you want to do what's called a cross-channel marketing campaign. You want to take a message just like this, great design, company, branding, everything, and you want to put that as many places as possible. So one thing that we do with all of our direct mail campaigns, we'll send you guys some of these cards that you should get to your house or your office before we send them. It allows you to do a Facebook Live video like, hey, this is Dave at Peach State Cleaning, and you're probably going to see this in your mailbox. You can take that and run that in the same zip codes that your mail is going to drop before the mail campaign hits. Yard signs are another great thing. Go out in the neighborhoods where you're sending your mail to and just get some basic signs made. Your signs don't need to be like a Picasso work of art with all this crazy service, phone number. That's all people are thinking about. They're driving by these things, taking pictures or looking at them at the stop sign or whatever. Putting out yard signs in like the stop signs coming out of these neighborhoods, going to like the busy streets, putting them at like Target or high-end grocery stores or places like that in the area where the people that live in these places that are getting the mail are going to traffic. It gets them thinking about the service. Then they get home and your postcards in the mail and they're like, oh shit, dude, why wouldn't I was thinking about this before. Now I have this beautiful postcard, a second touch. One thing that David did extremely successfully with his campaign is put together it's called a Ringless voicemail campaign. So what you can do is you can drop a message in the voicemail box of customers without their cell phone ringing. And so you record a message like, hey, this is Dave over at Lion Share Maintenance. You might have got the postcard we sent last week in your mailbox with a discount on power washing and window cleaning. We're in your area this week doing estimates. Give me a call at this number and we can stop by, do a bid, whatever. And you're just using the same messaging, the same branding, the same touches to have that customer remember what you're doing. Good marketing breeds trust. You want people to trust you. So putting that same consistent messaging through Facebook ads, yard signs, Ringless voicemails, complementing that with the postcards, it's almost a no-brainer. And for any of those, I know that like when I get going fast with this stuff, you guys are like, hold on, Dave, you're making this sound way too easy. Here's what you can do to practice this stuff. You have your current customer list. Send them a postcard, send them an email, send them a text message, send them a Ringless voicemail, and watch what your customers are telling you. They're gonna be like, oh man, I'm seeing you everywhere. I was thinking about you. We hadn't called yet, whatever. And it's like seeing the reaction of even your current customers applying these cross-channel marketing strategies. You're gonna get the same reaction from these cold customers that you're talking about, because they're not seeing other businesses advertising like this. When you can create that consistent marketing message, it's literally fish in a barrel, because if you've never seen someone advertise like this in your local market, it means they're not doing it. And you have the opportunity to do it. And it's not like this is techie. You're just keeping up on best practices as a business owner. So in summary, Facebook, yard signs, door hangers that look like your postcards, sending the postcards, and then Ringless voicemails have just been killer for us this year.
Yeah, and just to cover, so Ringless voicemails, what is the price on a Ringless voicemail, like per phone number?
So if we were to do the service for you, it's going to range anywhere from like a quarter to 50 cents. But I mean, if you just look at the data, we can sell you cell phone numbers for like anywhere from 10 to 15 cents a piece. Minimum order is like $100. So this stuff is pretty cheap, and we always we can point you guys in the direction of the right platforms to use. If you want to do any of this stuff self-serve to complement your campaigns, David's got some resources that he can share with you to kind of point you in that right direction.
Yeah, and the Ringless voicemails is great. Something that we kind of took a shot at before we dive into some of the comments that people are leaving. We're going to answer some of these questions and stuff. The Ringless voicemails, we kind of tried it out after the holiday. So we waited a couple of extra days in addition to what we were going to wait 3 days after the postcard drop. And I think we waited an extra 2 days and was like, okay, the morning after you wake up from Memorial Day and you have a voicemail from a number that you don't recognize, you're going to check that phone number. And so I think we got, I want to say it was like 15 calls between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. the morning after. And we dropped that voicemail at 8:30 in the morning. So literally an hour later, and we missed calls because we couldn't get off the phone fast enough to answer another incoming call. We were having to call people back. Now, and I'm always honest with everybody, 15 calls, 6 of them was calling me to try to figure out like who I was, why did I call them. They were like, hey, you left me a voicemail, but I don't know why. 2 of them were to let me know that they're on no call list for a reason. And the rest of them were pretty much legitimate leads. I think one of them wasn't one of them, and I say pretty much because one of them, the guy was actually like very aggressive at first and was like, why'd you call me? And I'm like, you called me. And he's like, you left a voicemail on my phone. And I was like, I'm sorry, that was Erin. She left a voicemail because we mailed you a postcard. We wanted to make sure you got the coupon for the pressure washing the windows, the gutters. Did you have any need for those services? He was like, oh, actually I might. Let me talk to my wife. I'll give you a call back. So that was, besides that, the rest of them were really good leads. And so to see that kind of immediate turnaround from them, this is something, a tool that you guys can use, if not monthly, at least on days like that where you have, extended holiday weekends or something. Okay, so Erin's going to read out some questions really quick. What's I guess a comment that someone left?
Yes, So the question that needs answering is, how does this differ from other services like SendGem or Radius?
Okay, so we kind of touched on SendGem. The question is, how does this differ between SendGem or Radius Bomb, which is a tool within SendGem, I believe. How does this differ between them?
Yeah, so one of the problems that we've seen with SendGem users is the high amount of postcards they get returned. First off, like, guys, that's a great tool. Those guys have been out for years. I know Josh and all those guys well. So this isn't like a competition thing by any means. We just looked at some of the pains in what was involved in automated mailing. The problem with Radius mailing is that you're using the saturation method of just like randomly targeting people in an area. And you'll find that with those services, and this isn't just with SendGem, it's with any Radius mailing service, you're gonna get like 10 to 40% of your postcards back in the mail. We guarantee a 95% delivery of all your postcards that are sent. Like, David, let me ask you this. You sent out like 5,000 postcards. How many did you get back to your address? Return to sender.
0.
We validate all the contacts that you put into our system. We know stamps are expensive. We know postcards are expensive. If a contact's invalid, we will not let you send mail to it, thus guaranteeing the mail delivery without that 5% slush in the post office. So we guarantee 95% delivery. The other part is that we have lists for you guys. So it's one thing to be able to put your list into the system or whatever. For us, it's like, you come to us, David, what'd you say? Dave, I got these zip codes. I want to list $1 million homes. And in this one, I want to go to $750,000 homes. We have that data. We're a data company first. So we allow you, instead of randomly drawing shapes on a map and hoping that you're getting in front of the right people, we allow you to get a file and a list of these people, and we give you that to use in your business. So like the list that we got for David for his company, David could take that list and upload it right into Facebook and run ads to those people, the exact same people that we were sending the mail to. The other part, which every business owner should care about a lot, is the cost. When you look at, and again, not super familiar with SendGem anymore, their pricing, but last that I understood, it costs 70 cents to send a little baby, 4x6 card, a little small postcard. At our minimum, you'll pay 77 cents more to send a card that's twice as big. And if you get into volume, it's going to be dramatically cheaper. I think the price on SendGem is currently like, I think they charge on credits, which we don't do. There's no minimum order. You don't have to buy, no lifetime membership, none of that stuff. But I think they're charging like $1.10 for a postcard this size. You're getting that for, 2/3 of the cost or less than you would on that platform. So short answer, guaranteed delivery, and we're going to save you a bunch of money.
Yeah. So personally speaking, the one thing that I like, and you touched on it, is that you keep the data as a business owner, which is huge, right? Like I have a CRM that is meant to collect data for me. I pay monthly for that. So if anybody out there has a business and you have a CRM, then you've already admitted that you see the value in collecting data. And this is a way to collect data at a much faster rate and frankly, probably cheaper. I mean, if you think about, so just think about this in the like grand scheme of things, right? If you're paying $23 for a Google ad lead, right? He's essentially saying that I can give you leads for 20 of that cost. Like you know what I mean? It's so cheap to get a lead. What is the cost per lead breakdown to when you're at let's say a 77 cents, right? For 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
So you're at 77 cents a lead. You get to keep this data and a postcard comes with it, or you can pay $23 and, take your 50-50 shot at closing this lead. So that's the part that I like, because you can, like he said, transfer it over into Facebook. We keep everything in different Excel sheets, so we can go back to these same people. And Trade School Consulting is my company, and we design the postcard that we sent out. I can simply take this list now if I want to, and I have my own design company, and like 2 and 2 goes together, and this makes sense for me as a business owner. So, and I love that David gives us that flexibility and that freedom, really. And like he said, they work with you amazingly. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. As my experience so far has been great. The customer service aspect, and obviously the return on investment that I'm starting to see. Aaron, do you have any other questions?
So can you talk a little bit about ringless voicemails and like how to structure ringless voicemails?
Yeah. So, well, okay. David, do you want to take a shot at this first? So I can tell you how I did it, but they're asking about how to structure a ringless voicemail. So like, if they could do a ringless voicemail at home, what is it supposed to sound like? What's the information they're trying to squeeze in that 10, 20 seconds?
Yeah, so David, you brought something up, and here's the thing. Like, let's be clear, guys. Ringless voicemails are sneaky. Like, when you send these things out, you're gonna get people that call you back like, dude, who the hell are you and why did you just call me? Or David mentioned like people on the do not call list. Here's the thing. I'm no lawyer, so don't come back to me and say, Dave said whatever, but you're not violating the do not call act because you didn't call them. There was no phone call allowed. Like, there's laws and rules available. The reason there are laws against text message is because Dave the marketer sends David Session a text message. If that costs him $0.25, if he's got a prepaid cell phone and it costs him $0.25 to get that text, I just robbed you. You didn't ask me for the text message, but I texted you, it cost you money, and I stole from you. That's illegal. When you call people on the do not call list, that's not legal. They called the phone company and said, I don't want these knucklehead salespeople to call me. Put me on the do not call list. It's not legal to call them. A ringless voicemail drops an audio file into their voicemail. Even if they tried to pick up the phone on this little mini half ring that doesn't really happen, there's no human on the other end. You didn't call them. So don't argue with the people, of course. If they say, hey, I'm on the do not call list, don't call me. It's like, we just left you a voicemail, but sure, we'll take you off our list or whatever. Going into your question or where you want to structure these ringless voicemails, I don't advise just sending a ringless voicemail because all that's really going to happen is people are going to be like, dude, what do you want? What are you doing? The message you want to give is, hey, we just sent you something, or hey, we're in your area, or hey, we just finished a job down the street, or whatever. Hey, this is Dave Carroll over at Lionshare Maintenance. It's been raining a lot the past 2 days, and we're reaching out to homeowners in the area, giving them a $25 discount on gutter cleaning for the next 48 hours. So give me a call at 651-330-2810 to set up your complimentary free gutter cleaning inspection or whatever. The thing is, short, sweet, to the point, but you'll find that if you just start blasting out ringless voicemails aimlessly, they're not going to work as well as if you're using them to complement a marketing campaign, like putting out door hangers, sending postcards, even if it's just a Facebook ad strategy that you're beating up a zip code and you're spending a couple $100 over a couple weeks on Facebook, then you do a ringless voicemail. Hey, this is Dave over at Lionshare Maintenance. You might have seen our Facebook ads recently. We're just out here giving discounts on house washes. We had a $100 special. Give me a call at this number. Make bullet points for yourself. That's the best thing, is like, hi, I'm Dave at my company. This is what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. Here's my irresistible offer. Call me before this day. Taking that equation we talked about, target your perfect customer, come up with an irresistible offer, put some time urgency to it, and keep it short and keep it tight. Just like when you guys pull up a YouTube video and it's 14 minutes long and you're like, oh shit, I'm really gonna watch this whole 14. That's how someone's gonna look at their voicemail. If it's a minute and 20 seconds long, they're gonna be like, I don't know. But if it's short and sweet and to the point, the beautiful thing about ringless voicemails, you can control the phone number that displays in the so when you get these calls back, you can make it say your office or your cell phone. If it's a number they don't know and it's 19 seconds versus 59 seconds, it's more likely they're going to listen to it. Short, to the point, introduce yourself, your company, give them your offer, let them know to call you soon, to the point.
And that's pretty much it. Like when you're sitting there trying to design what you're going to say, the things that you need to make sure that you are not forgetting, and you realize that you have a very small time frame to say all of this in. So bullet points is good. Make sure that you write it down ahead of time and try it out a few times to see if it sounds good before you get on there and try to record something real quick and throw it out there. Because what you don't want to do is pay for bad advertising, right? You don't want to send something out so it can make your name look bad. So whatever it is, make sure that you have your name in there. Make sure that you tell them why you're calling them. If there's an offer to be made, slip it in there because it's enticing them to follow up with you on it. And then if you can, some type of urgency towards the end always helps, whether it's you know, call today or we'll be in your area till the end of the week. Those kinds of things help with building urgency. The other thing is, and I'll disagree with David a little bit here, we're a super, my company, and if your company's like this where you're really involved in the area that you're in, so business owners associations, festivals, if you've been door hanging the same neighborhoods for 2 straight years, month in and month out, the door hanger, the ringless voicemails could be an excellent tool that, and I don't know, I haven't used them, so David could be right, I could be wrong on this, we don't know yet. I want to use this as when fall comes around, I may not have been doing any marketing particularly for gutter cleaning, because gutter cleaning on Google Ads is really expensive and passing out door hangers sometimes is time intensive. So I might be able to hit them with, right after a storm in the fall, hey, you know, here it goes. And I was talking to a buddy of mine that does roofing, and this is one of those things that you could use in time sensitive places, right? So if a hailstorm comes through, I could send out a ringless voicemail to that zip code because I know those are my people. So if there's a specific need or time sensitive purpose there, you can use this tool as a very cost-effective way to generate a lot of leads fast. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm sure David's correct on the long-term situation of it, but short-term it actually you could use it as that.
So we do this for a ton of roofing companies after storms. We call it a neighborhood blitz. Like, we actually did a roofing event last year, and these guys, during a hailstorm, they'll call us. We'll get the voicemail out the next morning. I mean, these roofing jobs, these guys are making like 10 to 12,000 in profit off a roof. We have guys that are getting like 17 to 25 leads the day of a storm doing the exact strategy you just talked about. So like, time and place, for sure, David, you're on the money even with gutter cleaning, being able to do that stuff.
Yeah, and Aaron was pointing out to make sure that when you record your voicemail, make sure that you seem authentic, don't seem really salesy.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing? And try to seem familiar. If you can. It was funny. So when we got Aaron recorded our ringless voicemails for us, and so when we had people calling back the next day, they were me or my sales team were answering calls to people going, I actually had someone tell me like they would only speak to Aaron. Like it was weird that they had this connection with her when they had never really met her, but they heard the voicemail and they were like, yeah, Aaron called me this morning about some pressure washing. Is she available? And I was like, actually, she's not available right now, but how can I help you? And then she was like, no, I think I'd rather talk to Aaron. And I'm like, what? I paid Aaron to do that. That's my lead. Yeah, familiarity is great if you can build that into and the way I think that she did it was more of, and this is how we combated those people that were angry when they did call or was confused when they called. And by the way, if you're going to do the ringless voicemail, you're silly if you're not already creating a script for when they call in to help make sure you're converting that lead effectively and efficiently. Because there were times where, like with the husband situation, where he's like, let me talk to my wife, I'll call you back. We had a script to play dumb when they called. So we were like, oh, I think that was Aaron. Like, I don't even know. Maybe it was Aaron. I think that was Aaron. Aaron sent you I think Aaron called you this morning because we sent out a postcard that had a coupon on it for pressure washing. And I think she was just touching base to see if you had any need for that service. And people would be like, oh, no, I don't. I'd be like, okay, well, have a great day. Keep us in mind. They'd be like, thanks. And they get off the phone not mad with you anymore, or you've converted them. And we actually ended up converting 2 or 3 of the leads where they were like, I don't know why I'm calling. And all of a sudden they were like, wait, did you say windows?
Right.
I do need my windows. When's the free estimate? So that's making sure you're prepared for these phone calls is definitely going to help with your conversion. Make sure you have a script so that you're not caught off guard, or like David said, seeming defensive about it. Like, don't be upset with them when they call pissed off. You did leave them a ringless voicemail, guys. Let's remember that we did that. But at the same time, let's try to be productive when we're on there, be constructive with the client. You got anything else, Aaron?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So it's 8:42. We got about 10 minutes left on this thing. If you are watching and you got comments or questions, if you want to talk about whether it's data mining or postcards, or if you got questions for me or trade school stuff, like ask away, because it's rare that in a conversation like this, it's live and you can chime in and kind of be a part of this instead of watching the video and then leaving a comment on my YouTube channel for me to answer back in 2 or 3 days.
Sarah,
Yeah. So CRM. So the question was, what's your recommendation for a good CRM? So my recommendation is House Call Pro. That's what we use as someone
All
that does.
day.
Yeah, as someone that designs websites as well, like having the back end of it, understanding what they do on the back end, being able to program their estimates into your website so it just books it immediately to your calendar. Or if it's like and little detailed stuff, if you look at, and I'm not going to bash them, but customer factor is just an example and that I'm going to use here. Customer factor, the scrolling button that you get for like call me or whatnot, in House Call Pro, it scrolls down. In customer factor, it's just stationary. It won't allow you to scroll down. So like little things that I like about House Call Pro on that end, but on your end that you're going to see immediately, you're going to have, you're going to be collecting data, right? And that's what I was talking about before. So I was actually on a consultation call with someone today and I asked them, I said, okay, so if you've been in business for a year and a half, right? We've been in business the same time. If someone came to me and said, David, I'm going to help you create a membership program, what is the average deck price that you cleaned last year? If you can't go in and just type in deck wash and I line item all of our estimates. If you can't type in deck wash and pull up every single deck off of deck wash off of every single invoice that you shot out last year and tell me an average, you're not collecting data to the point that you can use it to project like cash flow and things of that nature. And that makes you a more stable business person. You're able to make more informed decisions with that type of information. So CRM does that. The way that you could tie this in with David's system, and not to confuse me with the other David, with the other David's system is back to the data mining part, right? He's able to give you a customer base. So someone that's starting out, where it took people years back in the day, you'd take years to build you this giant customer base that you could hit with postcards occasionally. And yes, House Call Pro does postcards, but if we're being honest, I've already tried to look into that and David's cheaper, just if y'all were wondering. And so the postcard route though, when you're building it, it took years. Now you could call David and spend a couple $1,000s and all of a sudden you have a customer base that would have taken 3 years to build. And it's all of a very specific client that you filtered down for your positioning and your marketing for your brand. David, you've been around long enough. Does Lionshare use a CRM or did you just like create some CRM or something? I have an imagination that he has like computers behind this computer where he designs like crazy softwares and stuff.
So we had a failed attempt at building a CRM. For anyone who's been around the industry for a while, we had Close the Job, which is proposal. That was almost like 7 years ago now. We were doing a bidding software and I failed twice and wasted like 300 grand trying to make it a CRM, ended up in a lawsuit with a company. And it just good story to learn at that age, but I would not advise anyone to go through that themselves. It was painful. David, like you mentioned, so Lionshare has been open. It'll be our 10th year this year. And we used Customer Factor for the first 5 years. I think it was like 8 months. My office staff was so scared. Like my wife runs our office as well. And it was like, they were so scared to do the transition from Customer Factor to House Call because they were going to like lose data or this wasn't going to happen. So I basically like forced them to do it. It was the best decision we ever made. House Call is amazing. Roland, the owner of that thing, is just like, he's so in tune with the service industry. Like his pros, he talks about us like we're his children. Like that's how much he cares. And I could not speak higher about House Call Pro, the capabilities, not only what they're currently doing and all the stuff they come out with and how easy they make it, but where their mind is going forward in the future. It's like, you know, you mentioned they do postcards and Roland and I joke about that because he ribs me too. Like, Dave, you're cheaper than us. We're trying to sell postcards. Like, stop it. But it's like, we also recognize that like those CRM automations and those different things, they're so important. And it's something, David, me and you will talk about this going into next week to get some of that stuff set up for you guys. But like, when you have the right CRM, it opens up so many different capabilities in your business because with a program like House Call, they're always innovating. They're staying ahead of the ball. The new stuff, the bells, the whistles, making it easy. Your customers are getting text messages. They're communicating directly. David, you made an example earlier about like, you know, they're calling for Aaron. Like, no, I just want to deal with Aaron. It's the same thing that happens with House Call with those auto texts and the instant responses. It creates that intimacy. And in a digital world like we're in right now, creating intimacy like with your customers is so important. And that's why we moved over to House Call after years with another CRM. So anyone looking at anything, stop your search, sign up for House Call. You'll say thank you later, because it's the best one out here by far, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you want to sign up for House Call, you can use my reference link below in the comments.
There you go. Post it in the chat. They take good care of people signing people up. That is for sure.
Yeah, it really is good. I don't say that just because I have a referral link. I've used that. I used to use Invoice to Go, and I looked at things like Maserati and some of the other CRMs, and I'm not knocking any of those either. I'm sure there's great aspects to all the CRMs, but House Call Pro, to me, I've designed websites with other CRMs on it. I've seen the insides of some of these other CRMs. To me, House Call Pro is on a completely different level. The clock in, clock out feature, the text messages, the way I can track my income, my invoices, how it all ties into my bank account directly. They have lightning deposits where, like, if you say you were coming up on payroll and you knew this check was coming in today, but payroll goes out tonight, they'll go ahead and give you the money up front and wait on the check to deposit for you. So, like, crazy stuff that they do for you that I've just never seen other CRMs do. So, yeah, that was a great question. If you
One other thing to add to that, David, here's the thing that you always got to remember for you newer guys, year 1, 2, 3 type of guys, what you always have to remember in business: perception outweighs reality, but a first impression lasts forever. Now, if you give someone a bid, you do what you say you're going to do, you don't collect the money until you're done, you might as well be a $10 million company because you did what you said you were going to do. So if you can give that perception, maybe you are a chuck in a truck guy who just started, who's getting going, you're answering calls while you're on the ladder, but you're appearing like a huge House Call can allow you to do that, and you're not being deceptive. But when you're getting the automated messages, the branded emails, the invoicing, all the stuff they do, you might be able to go charge a customer 20, 30% more because you look like a bigger company. It's not, again, I don't say that to sound like deceptive, but it's like, if you can show someone that you talk like a million, you look like a million, you smell like a million, someone might sign that check. And all you got to do is what you said you were going to do, check clears, and you guys are in business. So it's like, remembering that you can use these tools in your business, House Call being one of them, to really like appear like you might be a little more put together than you feel when you go to sleep at night. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, use those tools to your advantage. And House Call is one of them, for sure.
Yeah, I like that better. Instead of seeming to be bigger, it's just that you seem more put together. And that's really for guys that are starting out. And I know that we have a lot of those in this group. If you're just now starting out and you can't afford a wrap truck and you can't afford all this expensive marketing or Google ads or SEO or all this other stuff, there are free avenues through social media to market. And a CRM like House Call Pro can position you before you ever show up in your chuck in a truck to look like you should charge them more. And then we all know that you're going to go out and do a good job. So when you pull up and they see you as chuck in a truck, they don't care anymore. As long as when you leave in your truck, you did what you said you were going to do. And then now they're like, oh, I like this guy. Like, this is personable service, right? People, if y'all have ever seen that trailer YouTube video I have where I have a trailer that makes $50,000 a month is like the title. And people laughed because I have probably $30,000 worth of equipment on that trailer, but the trailer is like rusting around the sides and stuff like that. And they're like, you should, how are people giving you business with such a rusty trailer? Nobody's ever asked me about my rusty trailer before. They're so sold on us by the time we pull up and we get out in our uniforms and we look nice and we do what we said we were going to do, that by the time we leave, they're just trying to figure out where do they tip at and where does the Google review go. And if you can get those two things down in a system, then you're good to go. And CRMs can help you do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anything else?
Exactly.
All right. Well, she is saying that there are no more questions. So you guys are missing out because there's 8 more minutes of us and y'all aren't asking anything to capitalize on it. Shame on all of you. Dave, you got anything else that you want to talk about or chime in about? Because if not, we're going to go ahead and end this early tonight and I'm going to go watch some Billions.
Can't argue. Oh, the new one is, yeah. Good reminder. The thing that so we've talked about a lot on this call. Thank you for having me. First off, Dave, this was awesome. The gem that I'd like to drop that we didn't get to talk about a ton is like, one of the most valuable things that you can recognize in your company is your customer list. Like if you want to go one place always that you can go to make money, the age-old statistic is that it is 5 to 10 times cheaper to get someone to give you $1 that's already given you $1 before than getting someone who's never heard of you and never used you before to use your services. So like anyone going through the cycles, or I want to grow my business, or I want to market, or I want to scale, what you need to do is drill on your current customer list, not only to get work from them, but a referral postcard. Send a beautiful postcard like this and be like, 50 off for you, 25 off for your neighbor, or something like that to kind of get the gears turning. Give them something that they can go pass out, that they can go give to people. Doesn't matter if that rusty trailer that's making you 50,000, they don't care about that. If you just started yesterday, the idea that like you can lean on these people that you've done things before, not only to generate more business right away, but ask for referrals, ask to get your name out, create that experience and really lean on that customer list. Because now it goes to the other side. David, where you talked about, the leads that we give out, or if you guys go get a list somewhere else or whatever, that list of prospects, it's your job to nurture that and turn them into customers, turn them into your soapbox clients that are going to go tell the rest of the people about them. David, think about those people that you got in front of, the leads that you generated just off this mailing campaign. That guy who took his 8 minutes to walk down his driveway today. Think about what he's going to go tell all his doctor and dentist and lawyer friends about you guys after you get done with that job. And that's just from one lead. So like really, really nurturing your customer list, your prospects, and leaning on that stuff. We didn't get to talk about it a ton on this call, but for anyone looking to like start off with a campaign or where to get ideas, David had some great ideas. The proof is in the pudding for the campaign that he just ran. But if you're like questioning this, or you don't want to spend a ton of money to start off with a big marketing campaign, lean on that current customer list, because that's where your money's sitting. And as you grow your business, and I speak of this owning a service company for a decade, our best money is always in that customer list. And then one thing you can do, one last thing here. So if you want to figure out, where do I target? Who do I get in front of? Like what areas should I target? One very easy thing you can do, whether you're using House Call Pro, Customer Factor, or just an Excel sheet. Take that sheet of people you've ever done work for, sort it by the zip code. So you want a sort of the zip codes that you've worked in. Make a tally of the most jobs that you have in one zip code. That's the area you need to be focusing your most attention, whether it's putting yard signs in, boosting Facebook ads in, targeting your AdWords, whatever. The most simple thing you can do to find the location of your perfect customer, sort your customer list by zip code and use those zip codes where you have the most volume to build that list or build consistency. That's where you'll see the most work come from. And it'll give you a guide of where to target all of your advertising. So you're not doing as much of a shotgun approach, but focusing on duplicating results. You don't need to reinvent the wheel in your business. Focus on the stuff that's working well right away. And I digress.
Yeah. So something that you kind of touched on right there, so if you have Google Maps, you can simply upload addresses into Google Maps and it will drop pins on all those addresses and you can see where your clusters are at. And then you'll get a better idea of where areas that you have good density, and those areas are the ones that you should hammer. Hammer them until there is nothing to give, and then find another cluster somewhere. Like kill. You know what I mean? Like really dive after them. So that's what you want to do if possible, because that's going to allow you to convert more. You want to spend as much money to get a lead out of that area because you're already known in that area. There's some awareness for your brand in that area. And then if you can do one step further, like in Atlanta, we will target very specific areas. I see a cluster, I'll target that with a bunch of stuff, and then I'll hit it with Facebook on top of that. So it's like, I know that you saw my street sign or my billboard that was on your way to work, and then you got my door hanger and my postcard, and then you saw me on Facebook, and now you've hit my Ringless voicemail. And like David said, at some point, somebody's got to call you on that, right? Like I mean, if you did that to me, I would pick up the phone and just be like, oh, out of respect, you got to come clean my gutters, bro. Like,
you're doing a good
yeah,
job.
you're doing your job, man. Good job. Like, so, yeah, anyways, guys, it's something that you can do. And the reason I wanted the video tonight was because you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get this off the ground. If you already have established customer bases, you can use that. And David's really good at showing you where you need him and where you can kind of do this on your own, right? Like he's the only person I know that offers something like a Ringless voicemail service. And then halfway through him telling you about Ringless voicemails, he's like, but I could just tell you how to go do this at home on the internet yourself if you'd like to do it that way. So he's really good at kind of pointing you in the right direction. So if you guys have any questions when we get off here, go to Dope Marketing. David, is there an email specifically that they could email if they have questions?
Yeah, guys, just hit me up directly. We don't, we got a big team over here, but I always like to chat, especially with new clients or people we haven't worked with. Just Dave, DAVE @dopemarketing.com. We can hop on a call with myself, one of our team members. We'll get you rocking and rolling. And then we always assign specific account reps. So rain, sleet, snow, day, night, whatever. I want to make this easy, guys, because the beauty of it is like, once you get your marketing stuff going, it's kind of set. The one piece of advice that I can give before we wrap up too, I know we got about 60 seconds left, but guys, here's the thing. Constantly prime the pump. You have to advertise when you're busy. I went years starting my service business where it was like, you go through the spring, you're rocking and rolling, everything's coming in, you got a pile of money in the summer, but everyone's checked out. Kids are out of school, people are on vacation, but now you want to go advertise in the summertime when it's not always the best place to do that. Constantly be priming the pump while you're busy because you'll get that reaction that David mentioned. Like, man, you guys are just advertising. You're staying in front of me. I get it. I like it. What are you cooking? I'm smelling it. Like, let's do some business. Constantly be priming that pump all the time. But your question, Dave@dopemarketing.com.
I have to be careful in asking David questions. I'm learning this now.
We're going a little bit.
So guys, if you are new to the Facebook group, watch the whole video if you didn't get to see the whole thing. This will be posted at a later date on my YouTube channel, but I always give you guys like a month of being in the group and being able to see it before we let other people see it. If you don't know the YouTube channel, Trade School Consulting, go there, subscribe so that when we do post other videos, you'll be notified of it. And like I said, this group and the YouTube channel and everything that we kind of help put content out there is free. So anytime that you see us posting that kind of stuff, like it, subscribe, or share it for us. And thanks for tuning in tonight, and I hope it helps. And we will see you guys later this week. Thanks, David.
Thanks for having me, man.
Bye.
Later.